Hey, Mick, you're one of the great wrestling minds. Forget about one of the legends of the ring, but you also understand the science and the psychology of wrestling. When you look at they and how, hugely hyped they were, did it live up to the expectations? Did it live up to the hype, what we saw last night, as far as Jeff turning heel, as far as, basically NWO again with Hogan, Bischoff, Jeff Jarrett, etc.?
Yeah, I think that remains to be seen in the upcoming weeks. I had thought they might be Bischoff and Hogan. I mean, I didn't know. I don't like to know more than I need to. But the Jeff Hardy thing came out of nowhere for me, and Jeff Jarrett being part of it was a cool surprise. I think it's a definite, like a definite threat to attract new viewers and to get people talking. Yeah, I think it has the potential to live up to all that hype.
Well, in your book, which is amazing, by the way, I recommend everyone to buy it. But in your book, you mentioned how the ratings have been up for TNA, but it hasn't come to buys for the pay-per-views. Do you think that changed last night?
Oh, well, again, that's another thing that remains to be seen. I strongly wish that we could get back to doing like 4 a year. I mean, the landscape changed in, I think, 92 when WWE started doing 12 instead of 4 or 5, and then WCW followed suit. I just think it would be great for character development and stories if they didn't have to fly by so quickly. So I think it would be great if we could focus on those big ones like Bound for Glory and Lockdown, things like that, and make a big deal out of the pay-per-view. So I don't know if one night is going to change things at all, but hopefully it's a start.
How about having it at a different venue other than the Impact Zone, like you did last night?
Yeah, well, that's why those 4 should obviously be in a different venue. I think the pay-per-views, the Impact Zone, tend to look a lot like the television tapings. I think that's just a matter of dollars and cents. It costs a lot of money to ship the show out and to put all that production into it. And again, I would be in favor of the 4 or 5 big shows, and maybe 3 or 4 live specials that might air on a Sunday night. Maybe Spike specials.
The book is Countdown to Lockdown, a hardcore journal by our guest Mick Foley. Dave?
Now, Mick, we've been on the air now. This is, Busted Open, and we strictly talk pro wrestling, and we've been on the air for a year and a half. And when we first started this show, we talked TNA, but we wouldn't get any phone calls on TNA.
Really?
It was pretty much all WWE. Right now, we have a full bank of phone calls, all on hold, waiting.
Waiting for you to get off, Nick.
Waiting so they can talk, and it's all TNA. And I'm expecting, and really the last show that we did last week, all TNA. Have you seen that growth since you've been with the company?
I have. I mean, I won't pretend it's not frustrating when people say, "Hey, you ever going to wrestle again?" When are you going to be on TV? And you're like, "I'm on TV every week." But there's fewer of those. Where you see that as the show, picks up some steam, and I think it has in the last several months. That people know about it more, and you're getting less, hey, when are you going to wrestle, and more, hey, I can't wait till you and Flair get in the ring together. So I think we are seeing the trend reversing, and it might take a massive marketing campaign to let people know that a lot of the guys they're familiar with are no longer where they became familiar with them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And were you surprised, talking about the book, that Raw plugged the book last week?
Man, I think everybody was. I don't.